Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest edition of the Playmakers Blog Podcast, College Football Edition. My goodness, we are in week 9 of the season, and it's getting closer and closer. And you know, me, my co-host, my partner in crime, Dallas Glenn. How you doing?
Doing good. How about you?
Doing good. We're getting close to November, Dallas. You know what that means.
The best month of the year.
But, you know, we as we always do, we got to recap the previous week, look forward to the weekend ahead, and all this good stuff. So, without further ado, Mr. Glenn, do what you do best and recap the group of 5 from the week.
Well, it was a humongous week. Big news coming out of the group of 5 and other small schools this week. But the biggest story, BYU upset Boise State. I mean, there's not really much else you can say to that. UCF, Boise State, both suffering a loss, both getting hit by the AP poll early in the season before the first college football playoffs rankings come out. That's significant. With that, SMU put their foot all the way up Temple's ass, beating them by 24. After the Cardiac Ponies remain undefeated, Cincinnati also beat Tulsa and put the sticks to them. App State destroyed Louisiana Monroe, which is what a Sun Belt team is going to have to do to get some realistic respect once the CFP comes out in, I think, a week. Georgia Southern beat Coastal Carolina. Memphis beat Tulane by 30. They are 6-1 and in second place in their conference. Surprisingly enough, they're in the same division as SMU, and they realistically might not have a chance to get to their conference championship game. Air Force beat Hawaii by 30. Those airmen, they travel. And even though I just gave you the biggest scores and the most significant games from the group of 5, Darnell, it must be mentioned. That loss to BYU put Boise from 14th in the country all the way down to 22nd. They are currently now ranked below Appalachian State, a team in the Sun Belt that's only been in the FBS for 6 seasons. The AP isn't always the same as the CFP committee, but that is a message. After UCF and the Fate National Championship and everything, I think they're sending a message this year with how they did UCF and Boise State after their losses.
Can I shout out Ball State real quick? Putting up a 52 burger on Toledo.
52 burgers are respected. Any other shout out?
Navy. 35-3. Yeah. Louisiana Tech. 45 on Southern Miss.
High scoring affair for one team.
You know, hey, I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. Dallas, your idea of doing a group of 5 was actually a good idea because
thank you.
Going on.
Thank you. It's just, you know, the BCS, for all the hell we gave it, with the way the college football playoff is probably going to turn out this year, and we'll get to those rankings a little bit later. Not that those rankings came out, but still just how they're doing poor Clemson, who hasn't lost a game yet. We have to start paying attention to other things because we're going to get tired of seeing the same 4 teams in the playoff every year. With that being said.
Oh, yeah. On a sad note, I don't know what you're going to do about Army, sir.
Well, you know, I mean, I don't really root for Army. That's Stephanie Riley. Shout out to Stephanie Riley. She's currently an officer right now. She just graduated from, you know, Army West Point not too long ago, already went through officer school and everything. She's usually the one I give hell about. So I don't know why you're apologizing to me, because me and her was going tit for tat during the Army Navy game, and I'm on the Navy side. So if you want to wait for her and tag her on Facebook, you can.
You had a number 2 in the initial poll, so
I mean, you know, who was that one team you were fighting to get in? Who was that one team that you just kept talking about, and we actually had
it was a reason why they was on the outside looking in at the beginning of the season.
And they played Oklahoma first, and then their quarterback redshirted, and then their number 1 wide receiver redshirted, and now they're tanking the season. But I mean, you know, I thought we were being gentlemen here. I thought we weren't bringing mistakes.
I'm just surprised that I didn't see this coming.
Well, you know, nobody saw what Houston's doing either. To be fair to you and not to be petty, I mean, this is a team that won 11 games 2 straight years in a row. You would have thought that, you know, with Army's recruiting difficulties, that yes, maybe Jeff Monken found the formula. But Brett Toth is in the NFL right now. Ahmad Bradshaw, he was a damn good quarterback a couple years ago. I'd imagine at the service academies, once you lose NFL level talent, once you lose NFL training camp talent, it hits a lot harder than say Rutgers, who right now has 3 guys on the Patriots right now. So,
but Georgia State 5-2. Jeez, where do y'all come from?
I know it. Once you start looking, Darno, just a lot of talent.
All right, one more shout out before Dallas get to the Group of 5 top 5. Florida International and Florida Atlantic, congratulations. You are doing better than both Florida State and Miami. I had my petty moment for today.
I do. Trust me, you're probably going to have a hilarious time when we get to the end when I do my segment. This time it won't be a Fuck the Titans segment, so you'll probably be even happier as a Gators fan when I tell my little side story. But with 87 votes and a 6-1 record, and if shit were to happen like it looks like it might this season, Memphis is number 5. Not ranked yet in the AP, but ranked in our poll, because right now it's hellfire and brimstone. I didn't know who to pick, so I just went with who the AP told me to pick. Number 4, after a humongous drop, I don't necessarily agree with it, but again, we have to have some kind of order here. We go by the AP Top 25 once the season really gets into it, and Boise State must come in at number 4. Number 3, the prophecy is getting closer every week. The Sun Belt will eventually win something relevant because Appalachian State creeps up to number 3 and 21st in the country. Coming in at number 2, a team that has experience making their way into bowl games that they do not belong in, Cincinnati, ranked 18th in the AP Top 25. And number 1, it is 1984. The city of Dallas, Texas has somebody to be proud of 2 times over. Go Eagles. SMU, the Cardiac Ponies, coming in at number 16 in the country and number 1 on the Playmakers Blog Group of 5 top 5 for Week 9.
That's a bad weekend for Eagles. Damn.
The city of Philadelphia. Jesus Christ. What more can you?
Two teams that are Eagles made bad beats on Skype and Pels after Monday Night Football. So it's been a bad weekend. But if you Eagles, you had a bad weekend.
The bad beats. The NFL team Nelson Aguilar gave up on a pass. Temple got shellacked. I mean, they were in the perfect position to put themselves in position to get ranked by somebody, and then, screw that pooch. So, yeah, Philly's having a rough go. Pennsylvania's having a rough go.
But I tell you, but SMU ranked number 1.
Cardiac Ponies. Who would have thought that SMU or Appalachian State, because I do not think Cincinnati is going to get it done late in the season. So, really, I think that SMU, Appalachian State, maybe Boise, if they win the Mountain West, who knows?
I feel bad for Cincinnati and Memphis because you got a team called UCF that's playing spoiler now. That is very dangerous.
Yeah, and then, I feel bad for App State and SMU because it's like, hey, not that they know who we are, Darnell, but hey, we got one poll over here. We got this poll over here, but Boise State, now they're going to wake up. Boise State already had their trap game and they lost, so they're probably going to blow through the Mountain West.
They didn't have their quarterback, so.
That's significant.
Yeah, we ain't know that going in, so.
Okay. I need to actually. Do you know how long he's hurt?
Actually, no, I don't. We'll figure that out. But yeah,
that is actually super significant going forward because that means that it's really a race between App State and SMU. Because Memphis, they're 6-1 and in the same division as SMU. But, if they don't get to the conference championship game, can't rank them above SMU. This ain't the beast. We will not have people from the same division competing for a national championship.
I caught part of that game and the announcers mentioned that they had their quarterback. I was like, crap, no wonder this game is going the way it is.
You got to play your talent to develop your talent. And quarterbacks in those positions that you just don't play.
But that is what it is. Yet again, Memphis number 1, Cincinnati number 2, App State number 3, Boise State 4, and Memphis number 5. That's sure.
SMU number 1. You said Memphis twice. It's okay.
That's your top 5 going into Week 9. Shifting gears. Boy. Just when you thought the Big Ten was looking good. God darn. Lovie Smith. And the final line I put off the biggest upset of college football year and knocking off 6th ranked then Wisconsin Badgers. It amazes me because it looked like it was going to be another beatdown coming. Jonathan Taylor running all over him, getting touchdown. The quarterback threw a touchdown. That is what Wisconsin known for.
They threw that damn ball too much. 32 attempts. That's where you go wrong.
Like I said, what is Wisconsin known for?
Known for running the damn ball.
Man, how many carries did Jonathan Taylor have?
I think he had less than 20. When I looked at the box score and saw that the quarterback threw the ball 32 times, I said either they were playing from behind or they were playing stupid.
And it was the latter. Playing stupid.
Trying to show that
what a huge win.
You know, I think this was, Darnell.
What's that?
The only way I can explain a 3 yards in a cloud of dust team, and there's a difference between Smash Mouth football and 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Wisconsin is 3 yards in a cloud of dust. The only way that I can explain 3 yards in a cloud of dust passing the ball 32 times is they honestly thought Illinois would be a practice game. They wanted to go out there and show the country that before they go and pick Ohio State, you know, just through the wall, hey, we can pass the ball too. Hey, we can put up points and spurts too. And then they messed around, forgot to give their Heisman candidate, and probably lost him the Heisman in this process, the ball.
He ain't even in the top 5 no more.
Yeah, they lost their dude.
That's fine.
It's amazing. They lost their dude, the Heisman, trying to show that they could hang with Ohio State and forgot the fact that they're playing a conference opponent. If Ohio State didn't teach you anything last year, respect your conference opponent. And, you know, Darnell, this is what happens. They looked ahead. They're a team that wasn't used to success. They were feeling themselves. They thought that they were a great team, and they forgot we got a Heisman candidate in the backfield. What are we doing?
And speaking of Ohio State, they played that Friday night, and they put their foot up Northwestern's behind.
Well, you know, when Ohio State's playing on a Friday, they don't get paid by the hour, Darnell. They're trying to get out of there.
Alabama did what they're supposed to do, but they have a major injury.
And he's getting surgery on it. I think he's had surgery on it at the time of this recording.
Tua is most likely will be out for more than 2 weeks. I'll explain that in a minute because LSU did what LSU does.
Beat the hell out of somebody.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
God bless them. God bless America.
The reason why I brought that up because in 2 weeks, guess who Alabama gets to face?
Oh, but Darnell.
Joe Burrow and the LSU Tigers.
Oh, but Darnell, I know we're going to get to it, but maybe, just maybe they don't need to be worried about Alabama right now. Maybe they need to be worried about that freshman with the gonads.
We gonna get to that a little bit later. As I continue on, Clemson. After a shaky start from Trevor Lawrence, they finally decided to put up 45 points, which took 21 of them in the fourth quarter. Finally went 45-10.
It happens.
Jalen Hurts and Oklahoma continue to do Jalen Hurts in Oklahoma. The baddest thing happened to Oklahoma on Saturday was the damn wagon tipped over.
The wagon has fallen, and it's not the one you thought.
My Gators, they rebounded and beat South Carolina on the road. Now they have a bye week to get ready for that team who can only score 21 points in the second half against Kentucky.
And it was a real game. It was a rebound. Florida's freshmen, Florida's sophomores, Florida's juniors, they learned some lessons that the seniors have surely been trying to teach them the whole season. They will be ready after the bye week.
So Georgia only can score 21 points all in the second half against Kentucky. That's not a good sign.
That is going to be a defensive struggle because Jake Fromm looking like the lights are getting too bright and your quarterback being one hit away. Those defenses are going to have the time of their lives.
Herman Edwards can only score 3 points at Utah.
2 claps. One more clap, that's the amount of points he scored.
What else? Texas.
Oh.
Don't get me wrong. But Kansas put up 48 points.
Dude, you talk about there's the wagon. The wagon was bad, Darnell. But the second worst thing that could have happened to Oklahoma was Texas having to be in a dogfight. I'm sure a safety didn't happen in the game, but they won by a safety. They won by 2 points. Texas had to score 50 points to barely beat Kansas. Do you know what that means if Oklahoma gets upset at all? Do you know what happens if it's Texas-Oklahoma in a rematch just like last year and Texas gets the win in the Big 12 championship? Damn the Heisman. This team, just like Kansas, put up 48 and they had to survive. That is not a good look.
Les Miles has fully incorporated the Big 12 style.
Yeah, Les Miles ain't running the ball and eating the grass no more. You don't run the ball and eat the grass and put up 48 against Texas. You got to do a little bit of the creativity. I just want to know what's going to happen next year. Because Kansas is a wrap this year. Let's be honest. Kansas is a wrap. We're getting ready for basketball season. But after, go ahead.
Are you a believer in the Baylor Bears?
No.
45 in Stillwater. And how you held the Cowboys to 27 points at, and they placed? That's remarkable.
I'm telling you, if I'm Oklahoma, I'm worried that Kansas did that to Texas. Right now, their best win is Texas. Their best win is Texas, and the Big 12, everybody plays each other. There aren't any division. So, I'm not going to look at the schedule right now, but I'm just going to flip a coin and take a guess. Whether it's the conference championship game or a late game in the season, Oklahoma's going to have to play that defense. And in the Big 12, you can hold the team under 30. Hell, you might as well shut them out.
Hey, shout out to Minnesota. They still unbeaten.
Dude, they were winning so handedly that they had their 4-year walk-on. It was a great story and everything, but I could think to myself, I was like, damn, this dude hasn't played at all. And he finally got a snap in this game. What kind of season is Minnesota having? To where they're just having like walk-ons who like don't play, get snaps.
That says so much about Rutgers right now.
Dude, Rutgers is going to have to pull an Idaho. Rutgers has not been, I want to know what their endowment is. Who the hell is donating money and funding this athletic department? Because, brother, they ain't recruiting.
All right, one team in the ACC took a hit, but their season's not over. Somehow, Derek Mason took down Kelly Brown and the Missouri Tigers. Quite frankly, it's only their only conference loss, so they pretty much still control the destiny in the SEC East, to my disliking.
I mean, brother, you can do whatever you want. You could try to tell me to be worried. You could try to get me to care however you want. I told you last week on the podcast, don't talk to me about no damn Missouri. And what do? Lose to Vanderbilt. It's between you and Georgia. Now, if you want to screw yourself over and jinx yourself, go right ahead. But it's between y'all and Georgia.
Oregon. How about them Ducks?
Somebody has to win the Pac-12.
Going into Seattle and taking down the Washington Huskies.
Huskies are right at the top 25 now. After that loss.
And to get to the other point. Do you deserve to laugh on this one? Because you actually did pick this team. But they didn't. Penn State stays unbeaten. Michigan tried everything they could to win the game. But defense of Penn State prevails.
Clarify why I picked that game, Darnell.
If I remember correctly, I think you actually flipped the coin, to be honest.
No. If we're going to ridicule Jim Harbaugh, we're going to do it right. The reason why I picked Michigan to beat Penn State is because I thought to myself, there is no way in hell with the stretch that is about to happen that Jim Harbaugh goes over. I said, looking at the slate, because who did they play this week? I genuinely forgot.
Oh, we'll get to that. That's one against Notre Dame.
I need to know because I can't ridicule him. Who?
Notre Dame.
Oh, okay. I'm serious. I forgot. So I was like, dude, there's no way Notre Dame, who does not have a conference and needs to win like every game handedly. And Ohio State coming up around the corner after having to face Wisconsin now after a loss. There was no way in hell they were going to beat them. So they had to beat Penn State. That being said, Jim Harbaugh lost to Penn State. Paul Feinbaum said you could get a yellow page book full of college coaches, close your eyes, and pick a coach better than Jim Harbaugh. I don't know if I'd go that far. Damn, I ain't going to defend it. I ain't gonna challenge it. Because, but if they don't fire Jim Harbaugh after this year, they just don't want to win.
I'm put it like this. Last week, me and Dallas actually flipped real because I literally said the guy who picked Michigan and him to win the Big Ten literally came on the podcast and said they losing both games to Penn State and Notre Dame. I don't know what happened. Dallas gave him a chance.
Because it's right. Like, the only way Michigan was going to have a chance the rest of the season to salvage this, because who cares about a bowl in early December? Really, who gives a F? Okay, maybe because it's Michigan, they'll get a bowl in mid-December. Maybe because it's Michigan, they'll get a bowl on the same day as the Cotton Bowl or whatever the hell the New Year's Six Group of Five Bowl will be. But nobody's going to care about the bowl Michigan is in. And now they're going to have to start worrying about what bowl they're going to be in. Because once the wagon starts falling, Darnell, you can't stop it. And oh, God, it goes from falling to rolling, and baby.
Now, before we get into this week's games, Dallas, you said something earlier on the pod.
Mm-hmm.
You said Clemson is being dead wrong. Explain.
It's hard to be the defending national champion, and everybody knows your conference is going to be ass. I mean, you gave Miami a chance. You put them in a marquee game where they were unranked. You put them in a game. You put them on the opening of this. You did everything you could to give Miami a chance to show that they could be relevant. Florida State, they were going to have their nice little neutral site game. Whether, had it go to where they get a home field advantage, they screw that pooch. Pittsburgh beats UCF on a trick play, makes T-shirts. Look, Clemson can't help their conference, okay? Just like Connecticut couldn't help the Big East. Just like West Virginia couldn't help the Big East. Hell, just like Oklahoma couldn't help the Big 12 last year. The conference that you assigned to be a Power 5 conference can't be too weak all of a sudden. Because the SEC is not only going to cannibalize itself over the rest of the season, but you have two teams right now that are in the same division, which means that every year they have to play each other. And ironically, Darnell, these are the same two teams to where all the newspaper columnists, the commissioners, the ADs, the presidents, everybody got together and said, okay, it's enough and enough. We get it. We understand what they're trying to say now. Alabama and LSU, who are in the same division in the same conference, are ranked first and second in the country. Now, when good and damn well, only one of them is going to play in their conference championship game. Now, right now, to be fair, the college football playoff polls haven't come out yet. We just have to go off of who are the best two teams in the country. If this was a newspaper championship, which technically the AP does sanction a national championship, their national championship is always the same as college football playoff national champion. So right now, if you had to ask me, Dallas, who's your national champion, I'd probably go LSU, not even Alabama. But to be fair to Clemson, we have a real playoff now. And Clemson hasn't lost a game. And Clemson's a defending national champion. So, bro, you got to pick one. What the hell did Ohio State do to jump Clemson? Did they beat Clemson, Darnell? Did they play Clemson this week? Did they play the second best team in the SEC? Did they play the second best team in the ACC? Did they play Notre Dame and blow the hell out of them? What did they do to show that they are that much better than the defending national champion? What did Ohio State do to say, okay, a traditional college power, balanced defense, got a quarterback, got weapons on the offense, a traditional college football power built team? What has Ohio State done? Who have they played?
You're right, but you do know, like in college, they also look at how you won.
But see, I know that's the thing. That's the thing. Why is Alabama number one right now? Didn't they lose the national championship game last year?
Yeah.
Hasn't Alabama been what week?
That's the other thing. Because listening to, my show First Take and some stuff, they talked about this last week, and Tim Tebow was saying, it's not about what you did last year. It's about what you're doing this year. This year, Trevor Lawrence ain't looking like the Heisman that everybody was trying to make him to be.
Come on, Darnell. You can't say that. You can't say that when Tua's backup is probably going to look. Tua's backup did not look hot when he had to play. And Tua's little brother, we saw him against Southern Miss. But let's be honest. By the time we saw Tua's little brother against Southern Miss, that game was over. It was over to the point where you don't even want to risk the backup getting hurt. So you mean to tell me now, Tua's little brother or the guy who's like a redshirt junior from Jacksonville, one of those two guys are going to, A, play better than Trevor Lawrence, and B, play up to the standard and have Alabama looking at the standard of the number one team in the country? What you're basically telling me is LSU or Ohio State is finally going to be the number one team in the country come next week, this time.
Are you sure?
This is what you're telling me, because Trevor Lawrence isn't hurt. He's perfectly healthy, and he's undefeated this season.
You forgot about LSU.
I just said LSU or Ohio State.
Clemson is slipping. Well, I can't say they're slipping, but Trevor Lawrence ain't looking like what people want him to look like.
Alabama has one of two backups that are going to start this week and look terrible. Are we going to say, oh, it's Alabama's backup when Tua gets back, if he gets back, because he has an NFL career to think about? The Miami Dolphins are mortgaging their entire fan base to get this boy.
Don't they always do that?
Oh, no. Ryan Tannehill has had them satisfied with being 500 for a while now. They actually want to get a quarterback. They want to get a franchise quarterback this go around. They got tired of being 7-9. And when you get tired of being 7-9 and think that you can do better, and you do what the Dolphins are doing this season, if you're Tua, you got to think about that. This is the same coach that got mad at Ronnie Harrison for leaving when he got drafted third in the third round. He got drafted in the third round, said comments. Ronnie Harrison knew what comments were being said. Nick Saban's a Belichick disciple. We get mad at, transfer portal. We get mad at forcing trades at the pro level. But dude, let's call a spade here. All the reasons you're giving me for Clemson dropping in the polls, Alabama's about to give you all of that and more this Saturday.
Are we sure? Who is Alabama playing Saturday?
You tell me. You're the one giving me the reasons from First Take and ESPN. I'm just using those reasons to tell you what.
Now, if you would have said Alabama week, if you would have said the following week, then you would have had a very, very incredible case. But this, I'm not so sure.
Who do they play this week?
I'm looking right now. Arkansas? Hell no.
Darnell, see, no. You're missing point. Think about it. Clemson didn't lose to North Carolina. They just didn't blow them out. Alabama doesn't have to lose to Arkansas. But if Tua is gone, and all of a sudden Arkansas looks like they have a chance. If Tua is gone, and all of a sudden they can't put 21 plus up on the point spread against Arkansas, again I ask you, so if they lose one player, this isn't the best team in college football? If the quarterback goes down, the rest of the team?
Well, I'm telling you, say that argument for next week. That's what I'm saying. Don't use it for this week.
No. Bro,
there's no way in hell Arkansas is going to be within 14 of Alabama, no matter who's at quarterback.
You better hope so. I've been right about stuff a lot.
Ain't no hope. Did you? So you haven't. Do you ever fake punt in history of football happen with Arkansas?
It's not about what you did in the past. It's about what you do this year.
And then you got this team who's going to travel to Tuscaloosa. There's no way.
It's not about what you did in the past, Darnell. It's about what you do this year.
Yeah, you can say that, but I'm telling you right now, there's no way Arkansas is going to make this a game.
Brother.
I don't care who's at quarterback. There's no way Arkansas will make this a game. You can have faith in Arkansas. I'm not saying it.
The defending national champion is ranked 4th in the poll because they didn't look good against North Carolina.
Well, you is one of the ones that said the ACC is one of the bottom feeders in the Power 5, didn't you?
And if Alabama doesn't blow the holy hell out of Arkansas with their backup quarterback, can they?
And even if they don't, I still don't think the committee would penalize them.
And that's my problem. That's my whole point. You finally got around. You finally circled around. Why? Tell me why.
Because it's the SEC.
Did Alabama win the national championship? All I know is
See, the thing that people keep doing. Clemson won the national championship. The committee doesn't care about last year.
Okay, so tell me, Darnell, let's get down to the real reason. Because you know it, you just don't want to say it. The real reason why Alabama is number one in the country right now, it's not because they look that much better than everybody else in the country. It's because of precedent. Everybody wants to justify Clemson dropping because it's not about what they did last year. But if we're really looking at this year, nobody in the top four except for LSU has played somebody. And LSU has played two people. I mean, they played Texas, which is, unfortunately, the second best team in the Big 12. And they played Florida, which right now is a SEC championship game contender. Those are two significant wins. Please tell me who Alabama has beaten in comparison to LSU.
No way.
But LSU wasn't in the playoff last year. LSU hasn't won a national championship since 2012. LSU doesn't have the precedent to make you.
This is me and you. This is not what the committee does. You see the difference? I can sit here and say I know Alabama ain't playing nobody, but guess what the committee gonna look at? Well, they beat the ranked Texas A&M team when they was ranked. They beat the ranked Mississippi State team when they was ranked.
And that's the problem. If that's what they're gonna do, if people are really gonna look at that Crimson A, if people are really gonna look at that logo and look at that brand, just like everybody else looks at Jordan, just like everybody else looks at Adidas and still plays basketball on Adidas, knowing good and damn well what's gonna happen to their ankles. That's the issue. If that's going to be the case, go back to the computers. Because Texas A&M had no business being ranked as long as they were ranked. And them being ranked 23rd by the time they played Alabama said so much and so little. So that's really something that the committee is going to credit Alabama. Go back to the computers and go back to the formulas. Because that's the problem.
SEC teams ranked in the top 10 again?
Right now, 5.
In 2 weeks, most likely you're going to have number 1 versus number 2 down in Tuscaloosa.
But here's the thing. Say the backup quarterback does blow out Arkansas. Say you get your deal. Does Alabama drop out the top 10 after they lose to LSU?
No.
If the answer that the committee gives is also no, that is my point. So you're going to lose to the team in your division that's going to cause you to not play your conference championship. And if LSU loses to Florida or, God forbid, Missouri, Alabama is magically going to be the better team. Again, I ask why.
That's what the committee does. Because essentially you have, let's see, this week you got 2 versus 9. Next week you're going to have 7 versus 10. And then the following week, 1 versus 2. Mm-hmm. And later on down the road, you're going to have wherever Alabama and Auburn is ranked at that time. At least 3 teams should be out by the time we get to late November.
Yeah, I mean, and it's that time of year. But it being that time of year, I guess it's one of those things where it's like, look, it is what it is. It's going to settle itself out. We haven't even gotten to the college football polls yet. That's really where we could start being confused, because the college football playoff, we have like 4 or 5 years of precedent. Their poll is wildly different from the AP poll and the coaches poll. The coaches poll doesn't even get talked about anymore. It's so damn different from everything else. So we will see. But at the same time, if you're going to ask me, to wrap this up, if you're going to ask me why I think Clemson's being wronged, if you're going to ask me why I don't really feel that great about Clemson dropping to number 4, they play in the ACC. The ACC sucks. Great. Who's the team that's number 5? And does anybody in that team's conference, including that team, stand a chance against LSU, Ohio State, or Alabama? The answer is no. And we saw it last year.
We'll get into more of this when the coaches poll, the college football playoff poll comes out in November. It's going when the playoff poll come out, it's really gonna show how they viewing this season right now. So, but right now, it is time for some picks. Mm-hmm. And I have stretched my lead to 5 games. Damn, it went perfect, but we both picked Hawaii to beat Air Force, and that was clearly a wrong pick.
Oh, these things happen.
You did manage to be over 500 though. Kudos to you. You didn't go 500 on last week, but it was a tough week for you, sir.
I don't understand why you do that. I really don't. You were over 500. You had a winning record. It was a tough week for you though. Yeah, you beat a conference opponent. You won. You're undefeated. You're the fourth best team in the country.
So, with that being said, the 13th-ranked Wisconsin battles are at the 3rd-ranked Ohio State.
I was going to pick Ohio State regardless of what happened last week. I think last week is actually going to make Wisconsin play better. I think they're going to realize, okay, run the damn ball. Just run the damn ball. Okay? Like, our guy, whether he has a chance to be in an NFL training camp when he graduates or not, that's irrelevant. Run the damn ball. I still think Ohio State wins because that defense is great, but I mean, that defense was supposed to do more than enough to secure that game against Illinois.
That Illinois game. Jesus Christ. Are you going to be able to run the ball with Jonathan Taylor against the Buckeyes? I don't think so, so I got to go out here.
I mean, let's not act like Illinois shut him down or anything. He had 132 with less than 20 carries. I mean, let's not act like Ohio State's the one with the better defense here, pound for pound. They're not. It's just Wisconsin's scared. Wisconsin was hearing them footsteps, and that's why they tried to throw the ball in practice against Illinois.
I still got to pick Ohio State. The 5th-ranked Oklahoma Sooners take the trip to Kansas State to take on the Wildcats. I'm going to roll with the Sooners. I'm going to roll with Jalen Hurts.
I don't see why I wouldn't. I mean, Jalen Hurts, I don't know how and why Joe Burrow upped him for the Heisman, but again, let's just be real here. Individual players.
Back to your point, LSU played 2 quality teams, and Joe Burrow lit up both of them defenses.
Okay, so if you want to do that, because I was talking about LSU being ranked as a team. If you want to do that, okay. All right, let's do it.
I mean, you asked. I'm just giving you the reason why they did it.
But if LSU has Oklahoma's defense, is Joe Burrow still winning those games?
Probably not.
Okay. We know that Hurts is the reason. We know that Jalen Hurts is the reason why Oklahoma comes within 7 or 14 of those teams if they do that. Jalen Hurts is what's making that offense roll. Jalen Hurts is Oklahoma right now. Everybody knew what the playbook was going to be. Everybody knew what Oklahoma's philosophy was going to be. He's still putting up the points. He's still putting up the yard. Individual award, no way in hell I'm picking Joe Burrow over Jalen Hurts. Individual award. Now, if it's MVP of, the college football playoff national championship games, yeah, I'm picking Joe Burrow. Unless a linebacker went out there and had 5 sacks and 20 tackles in one game, picking Joe Burrow. But not for a total season award, for individuals.
We got a 2:00 Eastern starting time out in the Midwest, Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Nevada Packers on the road to take on Wyoming.
I got Wyoming.
As the coach would say, good pick, sir. Good pick. Wyoming. Sticking with the group of 5, we're going to go to the CUSA Conference. The Western Kentucky Hilltoppers Toppers are taking on Marshall.
I'm going to go Marshall.
Taking the home. I'm going to go Western Kentucky.
Okay.
They might be able to do. They showing they trying to do something this season. I think they're gonna keep it going. Let's go to the Woodford ACC. The Virginia Cavaliers, the same team that got beat by Miami, on the road to take on Louisville.
Say that one more time.
Virginia and Louisville.
Dang. Darnell, do you know any reason why I shouldn't pick Louisville?
Actually, I don't play, to be honest.
Okay, then I'm picking Louisville.
Because I was thinking the same thing.
But hey, man, basketball season's right around the corner. Don't you guys worry, you're almost there.
Ouch. I should have known a shot was coming in sooner or later.
I keep them loaded, ready. It's like a musket.
Oklahoma State Cowboys from the Big 12. They on the road to take on 23rd ranked Iowa State Cyclones.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go Iowa State. But I don't like that ranking, though. I'm going to go Iowa State.
They're ranked for a reason. I'll go.
Yeah, and what you always say, that 19 to 25th ranking is never a good thing. Lucky enough they at home, so that's what made me go with them. They at home.
Yeah, I mean, we gonna see, big fella. We gonna see. But hey, this is the same Iowa State team where if shit hit the fan, they would have been playing in the Big 12 championship game last year. Iowa State, let's be perfectly honest, Arnell. We never hear about them having Heisman candidates. We never hear about them having first-round NFL prospects. Kalichi Asimile is basically holding down the entire university, and he's about to have shoulder surgery. So maybe a program is being built. Maybe not. But we will see this week.
Where you going with?
I said Iowa State. I said this like way back. You don't be listening to me, bro.
I'm sorry. You long soliloquy. I got lost in the circle.
I said it before the soliloquy.
Ooh. All right. And you ready for a tough one?
Mm-hmm.
Tulane Greenway. They on the roll to that Navy midshipman.
Tulane has. I'm picking Navy. So at first, like I established it for you, Navy. I'm picking Navy. But I'm telling you, when the cart starts falling, the car has to hit that hill. And once the car hit that hill, it starts rolling. And I think Tulane's season is about to go down a dark path.
Tulane, boy. I'm a believer in Tulane for right now. They making me a believer. I got to do it.
Just explain to me why they're making you a believer. They've had a couple of losses in the past few weeks.
Tulane's been good to me this season. I want to keep it going. I think Tulane's going to bounce back. Tulane's going to bounce back.
Also, they're 5-2. Navy.
They're going to bounce back. No, Navy is 5-1.
I just said that. Tulane's 5-2.
Tulane's 5-2. Navy's going to get their second loss.
Somehow Memphis is fourth in the division, but that's because of conference records. So.
Yeah. Yeah, college do conference records. The NFL do overall records.
Yeah, that's always going to confuse me because the huge what if. One day,
I know how you feel about that. That's a whole nother episode.
One day the what if is going to happen. A team's going to be like 6-5, losing record, like damn near a losing record, but they'll be the conference champion because they went undefeated in the division. It'll be amazing. Nothing but money going all season.
We're going to go to the MAC. We know how much you love the MAC, Dallas.
Well,
Eastern Michigan Eagles are at the Toledo Rockets, who are actually both teams coming off a loss, if I remember correctly. Matter of fact, Eastern Michigan was on the bad beat segment.
Is there a player on the Rams that's been really good that graduated from Toledo? Or I could understand Akron because, Jason Taylor, Hall of Famer, he was an Akron zip, but it's you in Toledo.
I guess we both going to Toledo, huh? All right. Y'all already heard me make this pick already. Notre Dame's going to continue the misery of Michigan.
Yeah. Mid-season firings are very rare in college football, but we're going to see what the priority is at the University of Michigan as far as the athletic department goes after this season's over.
By the way, for y'all wondering, College GameDay is not there. They somewhere else. That's why you haven't heard me do the College GameDay thing.
South Dakota State, North Dakota State, Battle of the Dakotas.
You could have waited for that.
FCS.
Utah State Aggies at Air Force.
I think Air Force is going to get a nice little run. I'm picking Air Force.
He's going with the Falcons. Probably the only Falcons he likes.
Only Falcons, a lot of people they just see the stadium by the end of the game.
Oh, dude, of course I watched the game because who the hell is playing?
See, I'm
going with the Falcons too because I don't know, Utah State, they don't, for some reason they ain't the team that I thought they would be.
It happens.
All right, the fan game of the week. What about you guys on social media? And to no surprise, it's the SEC game of the week on CBS at 3:30. It's the for the Tigers. Number 9 Auburn Tigers take a trip to Death Valley to take on number 2 LSU Tigers.
You know, it's weird because I'm 26 years old. I creep closer to 30 every day. But when I heard the young man who has not been lighting it up himself as far as arm talent goes, the young freshman quarterback from Auburn, say that earlier this season he played in front of a game with 100,000 people, so he doesn't see why this stage is so special.
Oh, he's talking about Bo Nix of the Auburn.
Oh, yes. I didn't want to call a grown man Bo, but then when he said that, I realized, but he's but a child. If you weren't picking LSU before, ladies and gentlemen, take your money out and put it back in on LSU. You won't win nearly as much, but you won't lose as much either.
We're both going with the Tigers of LSU. I'll pick LSU regardless. Joe Burrow is coming.
After that, how he looked against Florida with more than enough opportunities to win that game and have his own little Heisman moment. That man, look.
And now, College GameDay, as that was mentioned earlier, at South Dakota. Why are they in South Dakota, you say? Because it's the greatest rivalry in the FCS series. Am I right, Dallas?
You're right.
South Dakota State Bisons. All right, South Dakota State Jackrabbits. This might be the only FCS game we'll pick this season.
Probably, unless they do that thing where they do the Coast Guard game again, but that's D3. I'm picking North Dakota State. I usually keep up with the small schools, obviously. North Dakota State is still the standard of the FCS. South Dakota State would be putting up a huge upset going into the playoff season and all that stuff. So it's North Dakota State.
North Dakota State. North Dakota State has won. Not pretty much. North Dakota State has been like the New England Patriots of the FCS.
Yeah, bro. They're the standard of the football championship series. Everybody's trying to beat them.
So it's just ridiculous how dominant they have been. And seeing as I watched the Patriots on Monday Night Football and what they did to Sam Darnold, which I'll get into it on the NFL podcast, but I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go North Dakota State. Closer than experts think.
All college football matters.
So there you go. There's all your games. Both going Ohio State, both going Oklahoma, both going Hawaii. I don't know why I had trouble saying that. I'm going Western Kentucky. He's going Marshall. We both going with the Tigers of LSU for the fan game of the week. We're both going Louisville. We both going Iowa State. I'm going Tulane. I'm rocking with Tulane. He's going with Navy. Once a Navy man, there's always a Navy man. Both going Toledo. Sorry, Jim Harbaugh, but like I said, you losing both of these games before you start winning again. So Notre Dame's going to beat you. We both going Notre Dame. We both going Air Force, and we both going North Dakota State. And as we close out, now let's go ahead and do what you said you was going to do to close this out.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a college football podcast. And even though we usually only talk about the big dogs, sometimes there are stories in college football that we just have to get to. And one of those stories, one of the great stories, if you pay attention to the historically black colleges and universities in this country, if you know the history of HBCU football in this country, then you know that Florida A&M University has a storied history, a storied tradition, a storied past, one of the best pharmacy schools in the country, one of the best business schools in the country, blah, 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 blah. This last spring, in the NFL draft season and all that good stuff, Florida A&M had a pro day. 0 NFL scouts showed up to that pro day. Before that pro day, you could justify it because there wasn't much reason to care about the Florida A&M football program. They hadn't been ranked in the FCS top 25 poll since 2009. Basically, they were going to go through the entire decade and a year not being a ranked team, not being relevant. Ladies and gentlemen, after they beat North Carolina A&T, who's currently ranked 18th in the FCS top 25 poll, Florida A&M is back in after a decade. And this year they have Stanley right now in the middle of the season, 61% completion percentage, 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Not so much the statistics for Ryan Stanley. He just became the winningest quarterback in Florida A&M history. Again, if you pay attention to your HBCU football history, if you pay attention to the schools in your state's history, you'll know him being the winning. Also, they have a wide receiver. Right now through 7 games, 49 receptions, 701 yards, 6 touchdowns. But the guy probably going to very soon. Defensive back Marquise Bell, 35 total tackles, 5 for loss, and 3 picks so far. Those are 3 guys where if somebody does it out, because these are program builders. These are program makers. These are the guys you start looking at, because how do you get a program that hasn't been ranked for over a decade back into prominence? You find good players. You find players that could buy in, and you find players that you could develop. And Florida A&M, congratulations. After a decade and a year of being terrible and irrelevant, you have your moment in the sun.
What a wonderful way to close out the show. So, with that being said, basketball.
Fuck the Titans. You're still at the bottom of the division, and you always will be.
Really? Anyway, basketball season is out. A preview of the season. The episode is already out. NFL. 2 trades don't happen, and I'm not liking any one of them.
Well, best defenses in the league had to get better on offense.
So I got to talk about those damn trades and what happened in week 7, because we're finna hit the midway mark of the NFL season. So with that being said, we're gonna get up out of here. Enjoy your time. Next week we're gonna get you ready for this pay-per-view / house show that they got going on over in Saudi Arabia for WWE.
At least they made it easy on us because it's on a Thursday, so at least it's better to plan for that, I guess. But
and then in 2 weeks' time, I'll be coming back to do college football preview. And the rankings, those are on the website. So go to theplaymakersblog.com, look at the rankings for the college basketball, and you'll know what games are going to tip off the season in college. And as always, subscribe to the podcast, leave us a review on Apple. You can always follow us on Facebook, The Playmakers Blog, and you can follow us on Twitter, Playmakers The. With that being said, from Darnell the Playmaker Silence, on Dallas Glenn, we'll bid you a farewell until the NFL podcast.
Don't trade for Melvin Gordon in real life or fantasy.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.